Hello friends, this is Jimmy Singh, broker, owner of Supermax Realty, 647-961-2639, or you can reach me at my website www.supermaxrealty.ca. So friends, some of the audience who watch my video on should we buy real estate investment property as a corporation or personal name, the last video which I shot, they have bunch of other questions. So if you haven't watched the part 1, you should check it out. So continuing the same topic, should we buy in a personal name or corporation, I was gonna in this video delve a little bit deep, and then in the part 3rd I would like to discuss the common 1, 2, 3 tier structures which people use to save on taxes and avoid liabilities. So friends, my name is Jimmy Singh and I've been helping my clients successfully for the last 15 years create wealth and build their real estate portfolios. So typically what I see is people either buy properties in their personal name or either in partnerships or in the corporation. So there's like 3 ways they do it. And this conversation always comes up. And I always tell them your accountant will be able to give you the tax advantages or disadvantages, and your lawyer will give you legal benefits. So first watch my original video which I shot a couple of months ago. And the biggest disadvantage which I see as a real estate agent is incorporating basically hinders your chance of getting mortgages. So if it's a brand new corporation, you will have very hard time getting mortgages from good banks. And I have seen few investors actually dissolve their corporations because they can't get funding or financing. So they don't, I tell them don't get taken by these fancy structures of corporations, which we'll discuss in a separate video. You have to sit with your accountant and see whether it makes sense for you. And I have found most of my clients who have good incomes from their employment or job and are interested in buying these properties buy and hold strategy for long term. I don't see much benefit. There's very little tax benefits to incorporate versus somebody who's looking to actively buy and flip properties, or somebody who's looking to buy commercial properties which have higher risk versus buying a rental property. And when basically you own investment residential property under corporation or maybe personal name, there's no capital gain benefit. So you pay 50% capital gain tax for either of them. So if I buy a property, I make 100,000, so 50% of that is tax exempt and 50% is added to my marginal tax bracket to pay taxes. And same thing happened with the corporation as well, right? But obviously, if you have a passive income like a rental income, you are you have to you will be taxed at the highest tax rate in Canada, which is approximately 49 to 50% of the rental income. So it is very less appealing, because you can't write off much there. And if it's in a personal income, I can write off expenses against my income directly, bring my tax bracket down. So when I buy property personally in my name, that is classified as sole proprietorship, and taxes are purely based on my personal income. And since I'm managing the properties myself, and it is not viewed as a separate legal entity. And what I have to do is I have to go to my accountant and file form T776, which is basically statement of real estate holdings for rental properties or earnings. And if I have a revenue from managing rental properties, I have to file form T2125, which is statement of business and professional activities. So you have to understand, this is the first angle, and most of the people buy properties in their personal names. And second, obviously, is the partnership. So you can either have partnership with your family or friends who can join their resources to buy residential rental properties in Greater Toronto Area, Ontario with you. And CRA, consider both of you as co-owners, and basically it's like a business partnership. but it is not a separate legal entity again. So you're not required to file a separate return for it, but based on your understanding or ratios, how you set up your joint venture or a partnership agreement, if it's 70-30, 50-50. So rental income is shared and split accordingly, and you have to add your share in your personal income. So you have to submit a form which is called Form T5013, Statement of Partnership Income. And you can talk about all these things with your knowledgeable accountant for more details. And third thing, obviously, you can set up as a corporation or a family trust to own these rental properties. So in this situation, it is a separate legal entity where tenant pays the corporation or the business, and the business is responsible to pay the taxes. So the way it works is corporate tax rate, it depends on federal and provincial tax. So let's say example, federal rate is 38%, and in Ontario, let's say the rate is 11.5%. So basically you have to combine both. So if you're watching this video not in Ontario, maybe in Vancouver, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, you have to consult a local accountant to know the exact things. And the other thing you have to understand is your setup of the structure of the corporation, the tax breaks and the tax credit also determine how much tax rate you will get when you file for the rental incomes. And obviously the retaining earnings you can pay as a dividend either to your partner or your family members. Again, talk to your accountant and to determine what structure work for you better in your situation as an investor. And I always tell them, I can give you basic guideline, but I'm not an accountant, I'm not a lawyer. You should always seek their guidance. And guys, it is illegal to avoid paying taxes on rental income. And however, legally it is possible to use tax credit for your own business, and legal deductions like maintenance of the property, repair of the property, and commission you pay to the agent to rent your house, or other condo fee, mortgage interest, property taxes, insurance for the property, and marketing fee, utilities, and transportation. Basically, if you are going from your house to the other city, you can put the mileage or also expense, and you can do all these things along with capital cost allowance. Basically, you can depreciate the property also. Again, I'm not accountant, so see if it works for you, and then to lower your tax bracket. And one of the clients asked me about the lifelong capital gain exemption, which is actually 800,000 in Canada. So I told them, I said, with respect to this, what happens is basically if you have a business and you dispose of shares of the corporation that hold the property, it is actually considered a passive income, not an active income. So you can't get the benefit of lifetime exemption. Talk to your accountant, and you only get the benefit of 800,000 in the corporation lifetime exemption if it's an active business corporation. So guys, this is all I have to say about this topic. So as I said, this video is just to enlighten my audience who are just starting in real estate path. So watch part first video which I shot couple of months ago about buying your first investment property, or second, either in personal name or in incorporation. So this is just a small video to answer some of the questions for the audience. And watch out for my next video, which will discuss how to set up corporation, or like what are the basic ways to set up corporation, a 1 tier, 2 tier, 3 tier corporation to own real estate. So check out that video, and if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, smash the subscribe button. And if you are an investor looking to buy anywhere in Greater Toronto area, Golden Horseshoe, London, Kitchener-Waterloo, give our team Supermax a call. I've been helping my clients for last 15 years, and my number is 647-961-2639. Thanks for watching. Have a successful day, guys.